So I think when you kind of respond with like a crackhead energy, you're gonna get crackhead energy right back.
Right.
But if you respond like
Kim.
peacefully,
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the SojuBomb podcast. Today I am joined by my two fellow senpai, Kim of Senpai Squad, and Mr. MARVIN SquareNoodles. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
We're doing good.
Awesome.
We're feeling good because you know we have a very, very lovely guest.
Dang, my boy's hyped.
Oh, my bad. All right. No more squeaks, but
No, it's all good.
I'm pretty hyped for tonight.
Good. All right, well, thank you guys. Also, tonight we are joined by our wonderful SojuBomb production team that's still in the closet, haven't come out yet, still in there, they're just chilling. We have Mr. Young James and Sun Daime. Gentlemen, how you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Tonight they don't have a mic. The other episode they had a mic that they shared, but unfortunately we stripped it from them. So hopefully they're doing that way they can stay focused and diligent. You know what I mean? Doing what they got to do. Of course, my name is Anthony ORQUE, and today we have a very special guest on today's show.
Wait, Kim. Oh wait, you introduced Kim already. Okay.
I have.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm losing my mind.
Two senpais. Bro, we're 16 episodes in.
I was like shit.
I hope I didn't forget. Wait, did I forget? No, right?
No, I don't know.
Two fellow senpai, Kim of Senpai Squad, and Mr. MARVIN SquareNoodles. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Just like fuck, I'm just I'm just excited for our guest to be here.
I know. Yeah. It's okay. All right, so today it's a very special episode. This next person that I want to introduce holds a very special place in my heart because of the vast amount of respect that I have for her in the scene, in the community. So, I guess without further ado, I would love to introduce Miss Mariah Mallad. Everybody, round of applause. Mariah, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing lovely. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. Thank you so much. I like how you're getting into like your podcast.
I know, right? Mariah, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. I got you.
All right. So per tradition of the SojuBomb podcast, one of the things that we love sharing, it's kind of like showing off our goofy side, is all the different stories of how we met. So first things first, do you remember the first time you met each of us?
Yes.
Okay. Now, sometimes it's not that way.
It's a little like, wait, I remember you from here. I remember you from there.
And normally we kind of talk about it beforehand, but I actually don't think I've heard this story. So if you don't mind, I'd love for MARVIN to go first.
Yeah, it's pretty vanilla, right? It's like,
I love vanilla.
Shit. So it's I think from what I can remember, there you were reaching out to a lot of photographers in the SoCal community, right? And then you ran across my work, and then you're like, you hit me up like, hey, I love your work, and then I'm just like, dude, you're great. Like, so when we decided to just like chat it up, and then our first meeting was anime. See?
Oh,
see?
shit.
Oh, wait.
What?
So, because I don't know what it is, but it's actually like for some odd reason, like Fanime always sticks. Like,
wow.
Yeah, but
I mean, Fanime is a magical place.
But
You're missing a shoot right before that.
Oh my god! It's the
Lonely Dragon.
The Lonely Dragon. Oh,
Kana.
I keep forgetting it. What the heck?
But there's also a time we met before that.
See, my memory's pretty bad.
This is why it's so fun because we're like, do we really know?
I don't know, for some odd reason, Fanime shoot your
Maid Pochaco.
Your Maid Pochaco, and then your what is this, the
Semiramis.
No, your Maid Pochaco, the one that stuck
Virgin
to me the
Killer?
most, your Virgin Killer,
Yeah.
right? Because I spilled my freaking
Your rice.
Wait,
fried rice.
Shoot. Oh, yeah.
I spilled my fried rice.
He was like eating and shooting in the middle. Like I was like, this is how this man rolls. I don't care. Like that's crazy. Like go on, you hungry? Yeah, he was like, we were shooting my loot shoot, and he had like a box of like fried rice. It was like
I'm eating and shooting.
And he'd be like, and I was like, something bad is gonna happen to that rice. I was like, I had a feeling. I knew that it's just and he just bonked it, and it just fell, and I was like.
Oh, wait, where did it spilled on you or on
the
floor?
On the floor.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
And I just like watched him like.
I was so sad. That's why that photo shoot, I felt like our first meeting, but
Was it?
wow.
but it's not. I'm remembering the Kano
Can
was
you try to
before.
remember the one before that? You know it.
I love this. He's calling you out, bro.
honestly, dude. I can't. Like, I have a pretty bad memory. Where is
Oh,
it? Where is
wow.
it?
We met first at WonderCon 2017. We met on Saturday. I was in Camilla. Another David and I were cosplaying Camilla and Royoma at the time, and Miso and Alyssa were in Cammy and Chun-Li.
Oh my god, we were just
talking
talking
about
about
We
it
it
today.
Yeah.
we literally just
What?
brought that shit
Yeah,
up today.
dude, my
And-
memory's so bad.
Yeah, and they called over to me to say hi. They were like, "We're big fans. Like, we love you so much."
Mhm.
Wow.
And then you were there as well, and you introduced yourself to me there
I
because you were shooting them.
I do remember you being Camilla, but I don't remember any interaction.
There was an interaction. Yeah, you
See that?
Wow.
This is
This is exactly
Yeah,
why I love
dude, my
asking
memory's
this
pretty
question.
bad.
It's so
holy
so
shit,
good.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so that's I guess that's how we met. Yeah. So WonderCon,
That's so
but
sick.
I remember her. I remember seeing her at WonderCon. Just the way I remember WonderCon is I shot with them, and then I saw you from far away. That's all I remember. I don't remember any interaction.
Yeah.
But maybe it was because I was like fanboying so
Yeah.
hard, and I'm just like,
You were in the middle of shooting them.
Oh, that probably was. He's probably like
Yeah.
super focused shutting gun, like.
right?
in
And you were
editing.
doing like some gel work. I think it was red gels in the background.
Wow.
You
Damn.
remember everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Maybe
This is
because
what I
like
like.
Miso's,
It's great.
Miso's shoot was red gels, dude. Your memory is freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go, guys.
Hey, I
Holy
guess,
shit,
I guess that's a
big brain.
testament to how important you are. You know, because she
Alright.
remembers.
Aw.
she remembers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Say some shit,
I
dog.
don't
You know what I mean?
remember because usually I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, right?
Mm.
But man, it's yeah. I guess the idea that I met Mariah Mallad
Mm.
in a convention is just like holy fuck, and
Yeah.
then it's just like okay, I can't. This memory is gonna like
It's gonna
hype
stick.
me up and just like I
Yeah.
can't focus on other things. I'm just gonna end up focusing on like me meeting Mariah, right? So I mean, like it didn't stick,
Yeah.
but for some odd
Wow.
reason, I think the reason why I feel like I always remember Fanime is because I feel like that was the first time I sensed that like we bonded really hard.
Oh,
Over
absolutely, yeah.
spilled fried rice.
We really did bond over spilled fried
Yeah,
rice. It
because
was
I
a-
remember
no
you-
other way.
Yeah, I remember when I spilled it, and then you saw me really sad. I was just like, "Do you want another one?" I was
I was like,
"I'll
do you
get
want me to
another
find?
one."
I'll find you
Yeah, fine. I was
rice.
just like, "It's okay."
I was like, I'll-
and then
Whoa.
that mememory stuck. So
Aw,
I was like,
that's
"You're
so
so sweet to me." I'm
sweet.
just like, "You want another?" I'm just like, "It's okay. Let's just finish it."
Let's just stick to work.
Yeah.
That was a fun shoot. No, that was a lot of fun. I remember that one sticky. But I feel like the one that sticks out to me like the most in terms of like the first few months that we started working together was the Rin Tosaka shoot and the swimsuit Lukoa and swimsuit
Oh.
May. Those were all like
fun.
back to back to back.
Yeah.
And those were like
We're
right when we
grinding
kind of
things out.
started to like shoot together, and it was
Wow.
so
I
fun.
I
yeah.
remember those. Those were fun.
It was an adventure.
Yeah. That's when like you went to that was OC, right? You
Yeah, that was
traveled to
OC. That's
the
when
night.
I would like shoot like 4 or 5 sets with you at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I would like bust them out with like
Mhm.
3 a day or something.
They're like Marvin. I'm just like I'm there.
and like it started our like relationship started out really like we organized the like setup of how we would shoot really quickly. Like we just jumped into it.
You're right.
I was like running here and I was like,
it was very
wanna run with
work,
me?
Yeah, it was very work mode. Like
oh yeah,
it's like all work.
very much. And
that
like
shoot at OC, that's when we were like started hanging out and
yeah,
bonding
that
more.
was
Yeah.
June 2017.
Fuck, Jesus Christ, she even remembers the date.
Yeah, we shot
Wow.
April
Yeah.
2017 and WonderCon was at the end of March 2017.
Fuck, see, I don't remember the
That's
dates,
dope.
but yeah,
dope.
that's crazy. See, this is I don't know, big brain man.
Oh yeah, dude, I like remember everyone's cosplays
Holy
when they do their
shit.
cosplays like
There you go.
like for like Miso and
I'm
she-
so surprised.
yeah.
I didn't know your memory could be so fucking huge.
Oh yeah, it's pretty
Like-
it's pretty weird about that. Yeah, it's
But yeah, thank you so much for like kind of refreshing how we met,
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
That's super dope.
Yeah, dude, that's great.
Dang. And look at you now, 3 years later.
Right? Yeah.
That's crazy. And
Ready.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Honestly, this is like, you guys are like one of my favorite plots of all time. Like, if there could be an anime about this, I'd watch the fuck out of
Still
it.
rice.
Yeah.
Actually, that is literally
Slice
anime.
up slice.
That is literally
Literally,
anime.
yeah, so there's some anime.
Damn.
You just need a hat blowing off in the wind and me like picking it up and like She.
All right. Next up, Sir Kim.
So me.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we hung out a couple of times, but I don't know when our first time was.
I remember our first interaction, and I believe I remember our first meeting. The first interaction was you messaging me to be for the 2018 Senpai Squad party. Yeah. And then our first meeting was, I want to say AX 2019.
29.
Oh,
And
Which,
I would say it was when you came into his hotel room. And I feel like that's the time where I remember meeting you for like a very brief moment. And then later on during one of your parties, when we were in the booth, you came around too. And I think that's where I got to see you more. And then I really got to like interact with you when we were standing outside of the venue and you were just plastered almost.
Sounds
Sounds about right. Sounds about
like,
right.
I'm not even gonna question that. Me plastered on the floor, that's me.
was that the AX party at the warehouse, or was it?
It was like a
No,
theater.
it was when I remember because remember I brought them together. It was with Leah, right? There was actually a fun interaction because the dude that was handling the door, right? He was just like, I remember this clearly. Like, you know, it's like not trying to say that he was trying to do you wrong, but
Oh yeah!
it was
the
Edward.
fucking guy at the door.
Yeah, it was Edward.
Wait, who
So-
the fuck is
so
this
it
guy?
was
I don't
one
know.
of-
This guy just like rubbed me the wrong
So it was
way.
one of basically it was one of Ken's friend, right? He was manning the door, right? And then I was just like, hey, you know, I'm here with Mariah and like Sniper Wolf, right? And then like not trying to name drop or anything, right? Because it's like no, because it's like
No, I understand. You were walking in with like two big names.
two big
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
And then for you, like we had confirmation like for you that they're VIPs because you know them,
Yeah.
right? And then they gave us like VIP badges, right?
Yeah.
And then we were trying to get it settled, right? And then for some odd reason, something happened. He ended up saying
he like
ripping it off.
ripped the thing off my wrist.
I'm just like, you guys are
I
not
was
part
like,
of the
what
VIP.
the
Hell
fuck?
no.
Oh, yeah,
So
I
like
was like-
ripped it off, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So I came
was like,
out. I was trying to look for you, and then you're like, no, they're VIPs. I'm not sure if you're.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember being so livid. I was like, did this guy just think
Right.
he just can do that?
Right.
Like, because he's somebody, and he's like a small time something. Like, not to say anything. He's just someone in the scene. Like, I'm not. He does. I remember like I found out what his Instagram was. Because I was like, who the hell is this? It was just so
Yeah,
rude
but-
and
yeah.
unwarranted.
Yeah,
and the
even-
whole way that he went about it, I was like,
Yeah.
bro. I was like, you're having like a little ego trip because you're manning the door. I was
Right.
like, chill the fuck out.
Dude, we were like, I'm not sure what's going on, man. But even if they weren't like guests, and then you treated them that way,
This is
just like
kinda
snap
like,
it.
yeah.
Oh
It
yeah, I
was
was like, you know, just
bad.
don't treat
Yeah.
people like that. I was like, dude, I don't know if you got something against me or something.
Right.
I'm like, we could take this outside.
Oh shit!
I handed this outside. Like,
Yeah,
I'll do
what's
that.
it was
Like,
like
I'm not one of those little cutesy little
Yeah.
cosplay girls. Oh, I'll scrap with you.
No, it was funny because it's at that time, like going on off a tangent here, right? It was like he didn't know who we were, right? He didn't know who we were.
Yeah.
But then a couple of my models were guesting for you,
Yeah.
right? And then at the backside towards the VIP section, he ended up asking him like, "Oh, like, why are you asking me this?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm the girls' managers." Right. And I'm like, "Oh, you're the girls' managers." I'm just like, yeah, instead of them asking you, I'd rather just ask it. So that way, because I'm two of them are managers. It's just easier for me because like I'm handling two people's business.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh my God, then that's when he started realizing that, okay, maybe like we know the people who's actually running the show.
Yeah.
Right. So now it was such a weird interaction but I feel like that kind of, it's weird. I just don't feel good about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was just that's not on you. That's
Yeah.
just like that's not something you control. Yeah, you can be aware of like your employees and who's at the door,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes people just, especially stuff like that, get like ego trips,
Yeah.
like crazy ego. Yeah, I'm like chill.
Yeah.
No, chill
Dude, yeah.
for you.
It was like
What's
it was so
up?
weird. Yeah. It was just like he didn't know like the people that you were inviting.
Yeah. So it's like maybe miscommunication or something like that.
Yeah, but
For
then
sure.
like
Even then,
yeah.
that was handled like the wrong way.
Oh, yeah,
regardless of
Right.
what
It was
happened.
handled the wrong
but
way.
it was fine.
Yeah.
But then when you came out, I met you guys there, and then
Exactly.
hell yeah, that was,
That
that was
was
the
good.
vibe. That was
Yeah.
dope. I was like, that's Kim. This is Kim.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that you guys have somehow, some way gotten close because
Yeah.
both
Oh,
of
hell
you guys
yeah.
like have special kind of
Like
place in
connection.
my heart.
Oh,
Right? I was like,
shit.
True.
Yeah, I barely remember that day, but I remember meeting you in, was it Vegas? No, was it Katsucon was when I got messed up.
Yeah.
The second
Yeah.
time.
I like opened the door. I see Kim like on the floor, and I'm like,
fuck.
I like went back into my room. I pulled out like a pillow and blanket, and I was like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh.
I was like Kim. You like, I put the pillow under your head. You, as soon as
Oh
you
my god,
lifted
you
your
were
head,
the okay, cause
Yeah.
so
and I like ripped the sheet out from the bed. I was like,
so context. Kim
Yeah.
got super fucked up over at Katsucon. We were talking about this,
Yeah.
and then the moment I got him through the door, like, and I put his head like on the toilet, I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna fix the bed, right?
Yeah.
Like the pull-out couch. The moment I pulled out the couch, I knocked out. I woke up the next morning. I was just like, where the fuck is Kim? I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was just like a pillow and like blanket over him. I'm like, someone took care of him. I don't know who, but thank you. It was Mommy Kun. Mommy Kun came to the
Dang.
rescue. Thank
oh
you
my
for
God.
that.
Oh.
It was
I
actually-
also have a video of you passed out on that same couch, that same bed, snoring.
Oh.
And it's it was the funniest video because I was laughing so hard because and that's why I opened the door. 'Cause I was like, what is that noise? 'Cause I had no idea what that noise was. And
Yeah.
it was you. And I was like, what is this?
Is he
Yeah.
okay?
Okay. That's not good friends.
And then I
Yeah.
like look
Yeah.
over and I see, I'm like,
I'm so sorry.
honey.
Sorry. Yeah. But
so funny.
you know, it's man, good times. Holy shit.
Damn.
Yeah, I just remember you getting carried back by Marvin, like carried.
I'm so sorry. Dead
No,
White
you're
Kim is not
good.
Oh God, I was like, what is
Yeah.
going on here?
But for what it's worth, it's like this is the first time me like hearing that you're the one who took care of Kim after I knocked out.
That's
And I
dope.
actually-
You didn't know this whole time?
I didn't know
Nope.
this whole time. I
It's the
thought it was
ghost.
Kevin, but I was like, wait, like Kevin hates like people throwing up. Kevin wouldn't even go near
Oh,
Kim.
no, I'm
God
so
damn.
sorry.
Yeah.
Nah, I handled that real quick. I was like,
Yeah. No, that's good. Thank you so much.
Damn.
don't need to talk about good that you do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just do it. Just do it.
But still, thank you.
Well, dang, I'm all jealous now because I was a nerd when
Yeah.
when I first met her. Because again, okay, so full context.
Mm-hmm.
I was I think second year at Sabacon, and so I didn't know jack shit for shit, and I was told go to community events. I was like, all right, cool. And our mutual friend Jason Mills, shout out Jason Mills, I love that boy. Yeah, he straight up did his thing where he invited everyone out on Facebook to it's Otaku Picnic here in Las Vegas. And for full context, for anyone that doesn't know, Otaku Picnic has been his project since high school for him. So he's been doing it for years. So I'd gotten word. Me, my friend Lance, and a couple other staffers, decided to go support. And kind of how it works out for all the cons and Otaku Picnic is each of us would sponsor a certain thing. So I think that year, like Level Up threw in for like the burger patties. We brought like drinks and like the tables and stuff. So there's kind of like a fair balance, right? So me being the geek I am, I was just working it and shit, right? And then my homeboy Aaron, shout out Aaron White, that's my brother from another mother. He was like, hey, there's Mariah, and I was like, okay. I don't know who that is. I don't know this. Can you help educate me? I was like, you don't understand. Like I get so embarrassed super easily because dude, like I have this position, right? I'm kind of the boss of people, and like they're like, oh, you should get this cosplayer, this person, da. And I'm like, yeah, sure, word, let's do it, whatever, right? Me thinking in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is, but yeah, they sound dope, shit, cool, right? And so when Aaron's big on like name dropping and stuff too, so he was like, yeah, it's Mariah. And I was like, word? And he was like, yeah, you should go meet her. And I was like, I don't know, man. She looked pretty cool. There's like dogs. There's like this husky.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh dang, like, yeah. For me, general rule, you don't fuck with people with huskies. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
shit.
like dogs right next to them, right? And I didn't know if that was your dog or not.
It was my friend Sarah White.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had all her huskies with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
So I was on my way over, and Aaron had introduced me, but like it was kind of like a group. So I just kind of do like the awkward Asian uncle thing. I'm like, oh hi, hello, hi everybody, nice to meet you. I'm Anthony. Let me know if you need anything. It was just like that. So it wasn't very personal. And I feel like really the first time we interacted was a Sabacon meeting. So little known fact. So Aaron was really trying to get me to like pay attention because at that time I came on to Sabacon for like massive growth. I was like, all right, I got like growth strategies for like marketing and this and this. And he's like, you know who we should ask? And I was like, no. He's like Mariah. And I was like, word? He's like, dude, you don't even know. Like the way that she, and this is what he said. He said the way that she understands social media, is like a fucking science. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, she's so good at it. It's insane.
yeah.
Like it's literally mastering something that's so brand new, and she's blowing up fast. And that was what attracted me because I was like, she's experiencing this massive growth, and she's like a local, like a native, like a homie, like, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, how could we not? So we set that meeting up, and honestly, when I interviewed her, I was impressed right away. Because I had asked, I was like, okay, what's your take on social media strategy here, and here? And before I could finish, she said the right buzzwords. She was like, yeah, I've got connections to Funimation. I was like, oh, I want connections to Funimation. I've been trying for years, right? So I was like, oh dang. So she came as pretty much like as a total package. And so what for me, the initial impression that I got, I was like, okay, there's not many motherfuckers out there that know the game. And the fact that she came in intuitively, coming into this, saying that she had these types of connections and she recognized these strategies. Like I listed like one or two things. I was like, yeah, like us traveling for like cons and shit. She's like, yeah, do this and this. And I was like, you don't understand how long I've been trying to sell these motherfuckers to do this, right? And so we were on the same wavelength, and that for me spoke volume. So yeah, after that we'd kind of just seen each other in passing at cons, and yeah, that was pretty much it. But I feel like that for me left such an impression from the very get-go. And of course me, hanging out with Marvin and stuff. He one of the things, and I guess going into the meat and potatoes, the transition of this is talking about like having a business mindset in the industry. Not a lot of people know it. They want to get to know it and understand it. And after the break, I want to dive deeper into more of that, if you don't mind. But before we cut though, does that sound familiar at all about how we met or anything? Do you remember any of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember all of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, everything.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad because you kind of impressed me with it, like your memory of everyone's shit. So I was like, okay. And I don't think I had the chance to tell you like kind of from my side how impressed I was.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, dude, like, okay, massive props. Like this is someone that knows her shit.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Time. So anyways, we're going to cut to break and then we'll get into like kind of backstory, everything, couple questions that we want to nerd out on. So we'll be right back.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
See y'all.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. We're back from break. I had to make a couple phone calls as well as refresh. So we're ready to go and get into this. So I want to jump back into the theme of today's talk, which is being a boss, essentially, in the space, in the scene. Because I feel like there's a lot of folks out there that want to learn how to do it and want to know how to be a boss, but they don't know how to go about it the correct way, I feel like. And so one of the things, and again, based on the conversations I've had with Marvin, talking about like a lot of business stuff, and I'll be 100% honest. I feel like the way that Marvin accentuates his ideas is pretty much him learning from a lot of the stuff that you guys have talked about. And so when I hear that, I'm just like, all right, well, I want to hear it from the source myself.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I have a couple questions for you. Hopefully pretty easygoing because I feel like this is stuff that's intuitive just within you. So my first question for you is being an entity in the industry, right? Obviously, you're your own business owner. So my question, I guess to ease us in, is where does your entrepreneurial mindset and business acumen come from? Like, where could you say that came from? Whether it's in your past or whether it's like books you read or all of the above. Is there anything you can say that can help people learn like where? Like, I want you to pretty much tell people like what your start was.
Tell my secrets.
Tell me your secret.
Secrets or whatever, whatever you want to
The
share.
secret formula.
Yeah.
The Krabby Patty recipe is.
I was gonna say.
I think the first way to answer that question as a whole is within the sentence you said before it, where you asked, a lot of people want to be a boss but don't know how to do it. The thing is, I wouldn't even say I'm a boss in the first place. I would say that I follow more of a leadership type role. And I think that's where that difference is.
Okay.
Because most people want to be the boss and don't know how to do it, but
So true.
fail in it, and yet push people away, or they don't, execute things correctly. And
Yeah.
I think, when you're a boss too, you don't build the loyalties as well, because
So true.
I feel there's a heavy difference between being a boss and being a leader.
Of course.
A boss is someone who kind of sits up on the throne and tells you what to do, while the leader kind of is at the front of the rope,
front lines,
pulling and being like, this way.
By
Like,
example.
Yeah.
lead by example. And I think that's the best advice in a sense, is always lead by example.
Okay.
And that's where that, going full circle, that the entity of being like my entrepreneurship and like that idea of what I wanted to be comes from wanting to lead by example.
Yes.
Since I was little, I've always everyone in my family was like, Mariah, you're gonna be some kind of business thing. Like, who knew it was gonna be showing my titties in now? That's what happens. Sometimes
for
it
what
happens.
it's worth.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's like a perfect example of what I was
That's
talking about.
exactly it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
But I feel like, going back to it, it's just like, it goes to, it says a lot about you, because a lot of people shows their titties, but it doesn't, have the same success as you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, I like.
They do it wrong.
I mean, it wouldn't be so much that they do it wrong. It's just like they aren't tapping into the ways that would be more beneficial to them. They're mimicking or shape shifting to what other people are doing.
Right.
And that's something that a lot of people try to do in terms of building themselves up, is they try to look at other people, and that's by all means, take account to what other people do, and use that as a way to mold what you're going to be.
Yeah.
But when your entity as a whole isn't itself an original, and not that anything's original, but I mean, like, we as people all bring something to the table that is different than somebody else. There is
Absolutely.
a uniqueness to everybody, and at the same time there's not, but like there is uniqueness to people's personalities and what they do, and really pushing that out is important. And I feel like growing up, I had like the entrepreneurship that my family did. Like, a lot of my family are business owners. A lot of them are like
Nice.
will run for like city councils, and like just like I've had like a lot of my family are very hardworking people, and very, I wouldn't say money driven, but success driven. And I would say that they describe success in a different way than I do. So success could either be having the nice house, the nice family, and whatnot, but I feel like I've always wanted to work hard just to work hard.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just
She gets
it's fun for me.
You enjoy the process.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
that's
whole
100%.
process of it is extremely entertaining to me.
Yeah.
I like I love the planning. I love the working. I love going to business meetings. I love talking about finances. I enjoy looking at like stocks, portfolios, understanding what needs to change where. Like, do we have money to take a risk here and like try this new thing out? And even if it's for shits and giggles, it's something I got to do because I enjoyed it, or figuring out everything is like such a fun aspect for me.
Yeah.
And since I was a kid, it was like it just kept building, and everybody around me would be like, you're gonna do something, like I don't know what it is, but I basically understood like okay, like I want to be my own boss.
Right.
I understand that I can.
You didn't want to work for anyone.
Yeah, and it's like when I got into cosplay, I was like, I genuinely loved cosplay. To just it was like literally, it's like one of the things that makes me so genuinely happy. Being able to like dress up and create and like wear people's artwork and like bring it to life is such an amazing experience to me.
It's very freeing.
And, it's not even that it's freeing. It's just it's such a fun. Like it's such a fun way of just expressing yourself in a way that is almost childlike, because I feel people growing up relinquish the child in them.
So true.
You know, I mean, like all of you right now, you're all breathing like this, like you breathe in with your chest, but like, you know, in Tai Chi, you practice belly breathing, where you breathe with your stomach, because that's how we breathe as kids. And first, you know, it's like, we're always like on guard and wearing so much shit onto us. And I kind of feel like cosplay is a way of belly breathing, but in a way of like doing it with a creativity.
Yeah.
And like just kind of like tapping into that childishness.
The inner child.
Yeah,
The inner child. Yeah.
Okay.
And like, you know, I understood like, okay, now if I make it lewd, now if I do it nude, if I do this and that, I'm going to bring in money with it. I can keep supplying this, and now I can help my family. I can do this. I can buy a house. I can build stock. I can basically build an empire and cushion my family, my friend. Like just, I can like make a very safe, like a nice safety net, work really hard. And there is always people that are, you know, have to remember like, you know, your tits are online. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
And
feed myself.
It's like, I don't know. I guess I don't also see myself the way that other people see me. Like I'm kind of like very like.
I feel like it's a job, right?
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong. Like I used to think like, oh, if you show your babies online, you whore. You know, like but that was also me as like a child with the mindset of like. An Arabic family who is like.
You grew up conservatively.
I would say, pretty conservatively. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I was never even allowed to look at a bikini.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And like any leggings, you're not allowed to wear leggings. Like,
So
people are allowed to grow out of stuff.
Oh, yeah. But there's, you have to remember, there are also people who want to paint narratives where it's like, you can't grow.
True.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah.
So the whole concept of entrepreneurship comes from the idea of wanting to set by example and lead by example and be able to do something bigger than myself.
I actually have a really, really like curious question, right? Because it's there's a lot of stigma around sex workers, right? And the thing is that it's the idea that I was talking to this earlier to a friend, is that there's this kind of notion that, you know, when you start doing like sex work, it's over for you, right? And like there's that also idea where
I mean, there is in a way, it is over for you in certain areas. Absolutely,
right? And where my question is coming from is that, you know, it's a big risk you're taking, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like you're going through like a big step to fully like once you decided like to commit, right? At what time? Because I don't know when you decided this, right? At what time in your career you decided, I'm like, fuck it, this is me, this is what I want to do, and this is, you know, like how I want to progress in life. When did that happen? Because like as a person, like we've close, really like we've worked closely, and as a person who's kind of seen your growth, I've never really like you've made that decision yourself, and I kind of didn't see it. So I just want to go ahead and like ask you, like as a, you know, just a friend, as a fan, you know,
I would
when
say
that was.
It's not so much when, it's like how many times, because I think I've gone through that process multiple times of like upping the antics, you know, doing something different, kind of figuring out what I want to do, what makes me happy, like, you know, what brings in revenue. Am I, you know, does this weigh against my morals more than the price tag here? Like I'm like, you know, it's just being genuine about what I feel is, you know, I'm not like I want to show this and that because I'm being sexually free. It's more so that I'm just like, I make good money from it, you know?
Oh, gotcha.
And that's just, and that's like, and like, yeah, it's fun. Like I do enjoy the concept of like being like a living hentai almost. Like it's very fun to me. but there is a payoff. I feel that there is a genuine payoff for it to me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't skew my morals. I don't feel like I don't feel guilty about things. I don't like, I feel like if I'm going to do something, I'm like, okay, I did that.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you live your life, you should kind of say things and do things with confidence, and not feel guilt, because guilt is on the spectrum of like feelings. It's like one of the lowest things that you can feel, next to like shame.
Yeah.
Shame is like the worst. So guilt, and then there's like apathy, guilt, shame. I don't usually feel those. I feel like I like to like teeter at the type of like being peaceful and like happiness and like loving.
Yeah.
So like I'm being very like loving to myself, very peaceful to myself, and very like happy. Like I don't feel like miserable doing it. Like if I generally felt miserable about any, I would not do it. Like it doesn't make me feel miserable. It doesn't make me feel like, oh, like I do think that it, in some cases, doing the work that I do could be like life ending for people. Absolutely. Like it could destroy so many opportunities. And but it's also like, what are you gonna do? All these fucking opportunities. Like, you're not gonna do everything. Like you got 100 years, baby, if that.
Yeah.
Like you could die tomorrow from a brain tumor, buddy. Like just enjoy your life, live your life in a sense. And each time that I've made a change to do like something more lewd or nude, it was like, all right, well, what's this payoff going to be? Do I feel like I'm going to be miserable? Am I going to be guilty? Am I feel this? Am I like that? And I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do that. See how I do it.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you. Because
No, go ahead.
yeah, because I think the most thing that people should figure out is what they are comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
And then whatever they do, as long as they're comfortable with it with themselves, they'll go give it their 100%.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know yourselves, then you would always not give it all your all.
Right.
What's the key to that? Knowing yourself, because so going off of that, when it comes to yourself, Mariah, like you said a lot of things there, and like my brain's like dissecting so much shit. But essentially, like where can you stem this level of peace that you've achieved? So for somebody like myself, very similar to all of us, that understands hard work, the grind, being in it, being good times, being a lot of bad times, having a certain sense of peace is for someone like me, very noticeable. And I feel like at where you're at currently in life, it definitely seems like you have some level of awareness of that. So my question is, how have you been able to achieve that peace, like within yourself? It goes into kind of like the second part of my first question, which is like how important mental health and like mental strength is in becoming successful. Because I definitely feel you are successful.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? Personally.
I appreciate it. Thank
based
you.
on, again, it's
only from what you see.
Sure.
How do you know what I define success as?
That's why I'm asking.
You know, like maybe success is me owning a cat sanctuary one day. Like,
Right.
That sounds dope.
Or maybe it's boating around the world for 72 days. You know, it's like
Could be it too.
yeah, it's like that's an interesting question. It's very surface level.
Right.
Okay.
No, I mean,
that's great. I love that you're breaking it down. That's dope.
Yeah, I think like everyone's idea of success is different, right? So like I'm not sure like how you view it, right?
Yeah.
But for sure, the fact that I feel like the way we're going on about it, like we have our own standard of success, and kind of like we're projecting that towards you.
Yeah, it's like it's a question, a statement that always that's very projected onto me all the time. Like, you're so successful,
right?
And I'm like, and it's not that I genuinely appreciate that sentiment. Absolutely,
sorry, to clarify, it's like the fact that I feel like you're successful is because you're able to do the things that you want to do, kind of like you have plans, right? And then they're fulfilled. Yeah, that's success in some form. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. Right? There's success in like certain things, but to like to use success as the word as a description word for you, I feel like that needs to be more introspective into like what is your success. Like I feel like to say to someone like you're a successful person, it's like in a sense, but it's like
what's your core value of
what's
success?
What's the core value of success to you? Because some people find it as money, and like there it is. Some people see it as property, and some people see it as friendships, love, things that they've like goals they wanted to accomplish. And I feel like that's like I feel like people always paint it out to me as like, oh, you already did it. Right. I'm like, like I feel true. Like there's like I don't feel like I have gotten success in the areas that like not the like the ones that matter to me, but ones that I feel are helping my own growth.
Of course.
Just not even like business wise. Like I'm just talking in here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Can we explore that a little bit? I'd
Yeah.
love for you to kind of explain that.
So in terms of like peace and like where I am in that way,
Yeah.
last couple of years I've done a lot of more introspective meditation.
Okay.
And well, you can't meditate unless you first remove the core things of what make you unhappy, because you can't just meditate and fix yourself. You have to like work at the foundation and then start there and like
Okay.
I mean,
you gotta confront your problems,
yeah,
right?
Be
like,
real with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And a way to do that is first by starting with like the foundation. So belly breathing is one, like learning how to breathe, like inhaling, like
I mean, like oxygen is what
Yeah,
keeps you
like-
alive. So taking
absolutely.
in how to properly take
when
in
you're
oxygen.
mad, when you're upset, when things like are not going right, taking like 5 minutes to like just take yourself out of the situation, or even being in the situation and just belly breathing, just like breathing and like being aware of your breath, standing on the balls of your feet, like your legs aren't locked, like you're ready, like, someone push you, you can, like you can move with it. It's not this like brunt force.
Right.
It's, move with things.
Yeah.
Like learning how to move with things is like kind of the whole concept, like not even being in the way of the punch, like just,
True.
you don't have to stop the punch, just move the punch,
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where my whole mindset goes in terms of like my peace is like learning things that help me redirect the energy of like punches, I guess is the way.
No, I mean, that
or
makes
things
sense.
that can rock your boat in
Right,
a way.
yeah.
I've had within the last few years a lot of traumatic experiences, and sometimes they rock me heavy and I just kind of like lose balance for a bit, but I've found a way to get back on the boat very quickly, and if not like a speed race.
Yeah.
Not that it's like
Not that
I'm
it
like
even
rushing.
is a race, right?
Yeah, it's just like it's so like fluid for me now. I'm like I get hit. I'm like okay, like
Yeah.
and go on with what I need to do. Or
Yeah.
I handle things very like I feel like there's a quote that I really like, and in terms of peace, it said, "Always be calm, and you will always be happy." And that's obviously like not possible for
Right.
some
Yeah.
people. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna
Yeah.
always be
Be
calm,
calm, right.
and you're
Yeah.
not always gonna be happy. And like,
true.
what the hell is happiness? What's joy? What's any of that?
Yeah.
So it comes down to remembering that statement about belly breathing, relaxing, finding calmness, and pulling yourself out of like the internet, pulling yourself out of like
Right.
the online perception of you, like just being aware of like who you are is
Right.
one of the most important things, because I think on social media it's being aware of who other people are.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's like-
that's true.
So true.
Yeah, and it's like these people don't even know who they are. It's like, why
Right.
are we? It's just a facade. Like it's literally all just a facade.
Dang, that's true, because that's exactly what social media is.
Yeah.
It's like when you look at them, it's just like,
Yeah.
cool, like this person is this and that based on what they're posting, but you don't know what.
It's about you
so
in a
much more.
sense.
Yeah.
It's literally just like a brag. Like it's literally just like, look what I did. Look what happened to me. Look where I went. It's just all that it is. And like I'm very much so a part of that and feed that narrative as well. I'm like it's just something that's ingrained with most social media people. But to be aware of it's also important, you know, to like acknowledge like this is what this is.
This is a balance too, I feel
Yeah,
like.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But a lot of people don't pull out and they don't sit down and like
They're in
fucking
it,
look in
yeah.
the mirror and look in their eyes and be like, "Who are
That's
you?"
True.
Like,
It's like
So
some
true.
people get so stuck on the facade that they made of themselves, and it's just it's kind of scary because they don't know when to switch. It's like
I don't know.
So
I
true.
it's so hardly any of the models that I talk to read books. None of them. Almost none of them.
Wait, what?
Read books other than
Well,
like
read
manga or doujinshi
Right, yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I don't talk to many friends that read books, and
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I kind of do now is I go around and I like
Yeah.
for most people, like if I feel like something calls to me, and and this happened because I had someone like that in my life teach me this, and it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like now I go to my friends and I give books
Gift the
out.
book.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like I want you to read this. Like
Right.
I feel like it'd be very important to you to read this, and
Yeah.
because
That's
I just
great.
don't think a lot of people take time on that introspectiveness.
So
and,
true.
Absolutely.
And like
Yeah.
like talking about mental health. I'm like, books are free therapy.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't realize that because we're all going to see what we want to see. But when you kind of like,
True.
I don't know, it's like, I guess it's like a little hard to explain. I just feel like in terms of how I stay peaceful about stuff, it just comes down to like always practicing like meditation and Tai Chi and like,
Nice.
you know, it's the arts
Yeah.
of
Yeah. You
not giving a fuck.
You guys should read that book. I love that book.
Wait,
What?
the art of
Yeah.
not giving
No,
a
I'm
fuck.
not giving a
not
fuck.
not
I actually
giving a
have
fuck.
not read that book.
Wait, that's
Yeah,
a book.
It's
It's
such
a book.
it's
yeah,
so dope.
it's a really
Yes,
good
book.
book.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, in terms of books, right?
Didn't you just get one?
Yeah. So yeah.
On the topic
so,
of that.
I don't read books. I'm like one of those people that don't read books, right? But I do.
Yeah.
Right. But
Subtle
I.
art.
The subtle
Yeah.
art of not giving a fuck.
Right. So but the way I am is like I'm very much experience driven, right? So I do take in a lot of kind of experiences in life and like put myself in people's shoes, and then it's just like imagine I tend to be like, okay, let me put myself in someone's shoes, and then because though I feel like the way books are, it's just like
Well, that's the difference between you and I. You and I process things way differently.
Right,
You
yeah.
process things like over experience, and I can't because so much happens to me that
Right.
it's like I don't get time to process it.
Right.
Where it's like years later that I'm like,
oh yeah, for sure, yeah,
Wow.
The thing-
that's what
yeah,
happened.
that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, different people have different ways of processing things, but the core down to it is that you need to be open to certain perspective in life.
Of course.
And that's what it comes down to, because books is basically like a direct direct door to someone's mind.
Yeah.
Someone
Yes.
wrote that book,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like
It's how
when
they
you-
view things.
Yeah, that's how they view things. And so for me, it's, you know, as much as I love, like, you know, reading certain kind of quotes that inspires me and all that, it's really just about experiences in life.
Yeah.
And then but I really need to start reading books. It's
Yeah.
speaking of which, it's like books, right? How many books have you read this year? Moment of silence
I
here.
want to say like big books, like 8.
8.
Yeah, 8 big books.
And how
Nice.
many little books?
With like 300 pages or less.
Mhm.
And I'll say 6. Yeah, 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
That's,
Nice.
I mean, that's 14
That's a lot.
times more
That's a
books than I
lot.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read a
Yeah.
book in a long time. Last time I
Yeah.
read a book was 3 years ago.
I'm currently reading The Tales of Miyamoto Musashi.
Oh, shit, that's
Yeah.
big
I
too.
It's a very good book. One of my friends recommended it to me. And it's basically the storytelling of the true life of Miyamoto Musashi and like, you know, his just traveling through feudal Japan and like the fights that he's gone through, the
Right.
hardships, like, and it's a book I could recommend everybody to read because I think a lot of the things that happen in that book you can bring into like real life.
Yeah, that sounds good. He also has like seven rings. Is that?
Yeah, 7 Ring and the 23 or not 23. It's like he has like a
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
The Book of Five Rings.
The book of
Book
five,
of Five Rings. Yeah, that
That's
first
7
one
rings.
right there, Musashi on Amazon. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you-
The
Book
very
of
first
Five
one.
Rings, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
like the 20
5 rings, not
something
7
teachings
rings.
of Musashi, which I appreciate, but I also don't think is like I don't really think it's like something people can like completely do because like there it's just like a whole new level of fucking Buddhist, like just like
Right.
Dang.
reaching like a level of awareness that I'm nowhere near. And
You gotta build yourself up towards.
I like in 30, 40 years maybe. Like,
shit.
it's like I
That's
mean
a lifetime.
It's just
Yeah.
I'm talking. It's just like Musashi was like a master, like a master. Like he wasn't no fucking idiot practicing Tai Chi for a few years and still
Right.
can't belly breathe correctly and
Right.
like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
walking my balls of the feet. It's like Musashi is absolutely a master in who he is and what he does to the point where his like swords were extensions of him
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
every way. It's as if he could like bend the tip of his sword kind of thing.
Yeah. So you mentioned Musashi, right? I actually read Vagabond. I'm not sure how accurate that is to his teachings.
I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
don't think I've read Vagabond.
So it's not a book. It's actually a manga, right? Based Musashi's
teachings.
Teachings.
I'm sure it's close,
So it should
but
be close, right?
of course it's gonna be like
little
exaggerated.
different,
Like
yeah.
I would.
This is
Yeah.
like probably like the best artwork
Oh
I've seen.
yeah, wait, no, I've seen this. I've
is
seen this.
Vagabond,
I've never
yeah.
read it though, but it's
It's
dope.
so good.
I didn't
right?
know that's
I
who
learned
it
so
was
much
about.
reading this.
Yeah.
So I guess for the people who doesn't want to read and just want to enjoy manga and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the same time have taken life lessons, this is I could really recommend Vagabond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on Musashi's teachings, basically. Yeah.
It's a good gateway
Mhm.
manga, it seems. All right, count us down, baby.
3, 2, 1, clap, bitch. No, another one.
And we're back. It's okay. A couple episodes ago, Xena was like, I was practicing last night. She's like, I was watching your episodes. I know you guys do it. So she's like, I was practicing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll get it.
It's all right. All right. So, man, I feel really good. I don't know about you guys
Yeah,
because
dude.
like there's a certain level of zen in the room right now,
Yeah.
like just this energy.
It's crazy because Mariah is completely leading it, and it's just like the thing is that it's weird because it's usually not the zen like.
Yeah.
Where this podcast is all about cheers, getting drunk, and all that, and like it's none of that right
Yeah.
now.
No,
It's
this is good.
crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be like
Again,
that.
this is, and I love it because this is kind of like another side to it,
Mhm.
right? Because typically we do have crackhead energy.
We do.
Going into
Yeah.
Hey,
all
don't get me
this
wrong,
shit.
so do I.
I
Yeah.
know. But I mean, I like the place that we've landed so far in the conversation
Mm-hmm.
because for me, I love analyzing like fundamentals and like
Mhm.
the roots of stuff.
Yeah.
And where we're at right now is really understanding because again, there's so many ties to this
Mhm.
to business. Right.
Right.
And
Mhm.
and I love like kind of the tone that we're setting with it because most people think like, or the common misperception is like, oh, you gotta grind, like you gotta like work.
Mhm.
And intuitively, that seems like something that people generally do.
Mhm.
But in order to, I guess, get to like a faster trajectory, there are certain steps that need to be made, especially when it comes to your mentality. And I feel like
Mhm.
with everything you guys are talking about, I'm like, yep, that sounds about right.
You're
Like
right.
this.
Yeah.
So for instance, like me being from like the con scene, running stuff behind the scenes, right? You typically, shit's going on everywhere. There's
But yeah,
fucking-
you're always in the chaos.
yeah, exactly. You're in it. And I guess the question of true strength there is like how well can you keep your shit together?
Right.
While
Yeah.
fucking this is going off. This
Right.
dude threw up here.
Mhm.
This person has an allergy, right?
Mhm.
This panel's late. Like you know what I mean? Like all
Right.
those different things. And so for me, hearing this, I'm just like, yep, it totally resonates with me because there's a certain level of peace amongst the chaos that you need to have in order to just straight up operate.
Right. You got to be
Yeah.
able to balance it, right? It's
Exactly.
just like if peace is too overwhelming,
Mhm.
you're gonna end. Or sorry, if
But what if that chaos is your piece?
Oh,
Ooh.
wow, holy shit, right?
sorry.
Actually,
hold up,
yes.
hold up.
Yeah, okay.
Like holy fucking shit, hold up.
I strive
can you
in
elaborate?
chaos.
What if chaos is what makes you feel comfortable?
Correct. That's
Right.
where I live. That's my that's my home. That's my
Right.
It's like, so is it chaos if you know how to operate it?
Is it chaos if I know how to operate?
So that's actually
Isn't
like,
it
holy
chaos
shit,
only
yeah.
if you make it chaos? If
Right.
you see it
So
as
like-
chaos?
So you're living in chaotic life, right? So
Yeah.
if your mindset is
To
always
others.
chaotic, look,
Exactly.
I mean, like
Perspective.
no, right?
Yes.
So like if you live in chaos,
Mhm.
right? I'm just like trying to process it because it's like I've never thought about it that before because it's
Yeah.
like my mindset is always about structure and harmony and all that,
Mhm.
and I've never realized that people definitely operate and like strive in chaos.
Yeah.
So it's just like how, like when if your piece is chaos, like what are like Joker or something? Like you just
Probably.
like just want to watch the world burn.
It's not even that. Maybe
Yeah.
someone's brain operates in a sense of like doing well in multiple situations that require very
Fast
quick
thinking.
and like on the spot responses
Yeah.
or even like this was something you waited last minute to, but you get it done now because they like you operate fast when it's like a last minute thing and you're like
Yeah.
like the concept scatterbrain, like
Yeah.
that's how I feel like I operate.
So
But
you
it-
pretty much just described
I know.
all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Essentially.
my God.
It's essentially it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, is it chaos though, or is it just like
Exactly. The
what-
redefinition of it, I think.
It's
like,
an
is-
organized chaos, right?
But is it
Right.
chaos?
It is. Well,
How is it chaos if it's what we can do it? It's not
Oh,
chaos.
it's not chaos.
then.
Oh.
That's-
Yeah,
That's true.
it's not technically chaos, is what you
yeah.
say.
Well,
Because chaos
This
is
is
like
about-
uncontrollable, like an uncontrollable outcome.
We're controlling.
mhm.
But we have
Situation.
control.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
control of our. I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
all we can do is control ourselves. We can't
Yeah.
control anything else.
right.
Sure.
I
But-
feel like certain aspects is like we're not in control at all. It's just like
Absolutely
how we,
not.
It's just how we handle things,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Exactly.
You could die in 2 seconds, 10
Right.
years.
Right.
Like We don't even control our own lives,
Right.
in
Yeah.
a sense.
Mhm.
But we
But,
control
like,
our
in
actions
aspects,
and like
yeah.
how we view things, and like, you know, if like you need to do this, you gotta do that. They're yelling over here. Some kid just broke his arm jumping off the balcony. Like we're like, okay, I gotta do this, do that. Like, it's just like if it works for you, it works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's fun for you, it's fun.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I
me.
gue-
I'm-
yeah.
I'm a-
I mean, I guess everyone in this table operates in like chaos, right? Because if we weren't operating in chaos, we wouldn't be pursuing new ventures. We wouldn't be pursuing new projects.
Exactly.
But I don't even see it as I'm operating chaos.
What are you operating in?
I'm operating in like what's comfortable to me.
Yeah.
Like even
This
if
is
it's all
home.
over the place, I don't feel like uncomfortable at all.
Exactly.
At no point ever. I mean, yeah, even if there's a lot going on, or like if like I messed up this thing, I'm like, I don't feel like, oh,
Yeah.
like it's always like, okay, so I got to get this done here, you know. Sorry, my schedule's the way it is. Like to someone it might seem like chaos,
Right.
but to me it's like not even organized, guys. It's just organized.
Right, but that's what I mean. I think all of us, like, sorry, I shouldn't say we operate under chaos, but we operate in a very chaotic lifestyle, right? Like we're always like, for example, for you, Kim, you're always bringing new venture because your operation has become so stable that okay,
Yeah.
what else is new, right? That you can.
But I don't
tackle.
even
But
think
that's-
that's chaotic
That's
though.
basically just me looking for new things in life because I do like it and I wouldn't consider it chaos. If I
Oh.
consider it chaos in my life, because chaos is like it's something that's uncertain to me.
Yeah.
And everything I do is like uncertain about. So
Yeah.
it's like it may seem chaotic to other people, but I operate in a way where like I think in like a fast
like they're
movement.
executed decisions and
Strategic.
like not even just strategic. They're just like it's like something like, you know, this is what I want to do. And is that chaotic?
I mean, I feel like there's something I'm missing here because it's like the way I operate is like, okay, like I always want to grow, right?
Yeah.
And I always want to go ahead and like do something challenging, and I always want to figure things out that way it's like leveled, right? Because if you start a new project, there's not a lot of things that there's not a lot of things that like you don't know how to figure out, and then
But I mean, you have the internet at your fingertips. There's so much.
but that's what I mean. It's like when you start out a new project,
Yeah.
it gets really chaotic, right? Because there's a lot of things to figure out, and so the moment it's like, for example, like I mean, like,
This is good. I
I'm
love
just
this.
I'm missing something here, right? Because you guys operate in like a different perspective, and I operate in a different perspective. I feel like me whenever I'm having new models and like how do we grow them and all that, and like it gets very, I wouldn't say like it gets very like in just outside because you don't know what could come out, like everything you're planning, it's like it's just you've never been there, so in a sense it's very chaotic, right? And then you slowly figure it out to the point where it's like it's no longer chaotic because you figured it out.
I mean,
I feel like that's how I'm viewing things.
But if you slowly figure it out, then why are you still living in chaos? Then?
Yeah. Why do you still
But-
define it as chaotic?
Oh, because I'm building. That's the thing. It's
But
like,
if you've gone through that same process so many times with so many different models, shouldn't it be easy now?
no, but no, that's the thing. It's like not every single model is the same.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. Is that for new, like for me, it's like,
Like, would it be a
Like, for-
description of chaotic for you?
so starting a new business venture,
Unknown.
like
Yeah.
starting up a new business
Wouldn't
venture.
that just
like,
be unknown then?
but well, that would be unknown, right?
Yeah.
But imagine if it's like I love the process, right? So for example, if I go ahead and like decide to venture into Kim's business of selling merch, right? It's like I'm ordering things, I'm ordering shipping, and I don't know how to ship things out, and then you have all these merch, and like you don't know how to do it, and then because of that uncertainty and unknown, things becomes chaotic.
I
And
feel
then-
only if you allow it to be.
Oh,
Because I
but-
feel like in a sense, like if you're like, okay, so I need to do A to get to B, isn't that just a direct line to there?
But
Wouldn't
it's
like
not-
chaotic be like,
Right, but-
even then you're still getting to your point.
Eventually you'll get it done.
Like
Right.
it's like
But I think that's exactly it. It's just like not every single thing that you planned comes the way you want it to be. Thus, it becomes very chaotic. Imagine if it's like I ordered a bunch of shipment of clothing, right? I love like talking in analogy. So it's like this is like if I order a bunch of clothing and then suddenly it's like 2 days before the convention, my shipment didn't come. And then suddenly I don't have anything to sell. then it becomes really chaotic, right? Because it's like, okay, the things that I had planned didn't go through. Now I have to figure it out how to level up the piece again.
But is now I have a even better analogy that actually happened.
Okay.
When you weren't able to go to Japan with us, and our trip was basically based around you in a sense of doing photography work.
Right.
Yeah, at first it's like I was like, fuck, I'm like sitting there like, what am I gonna do? And it's but I still didn't find that to be chaotic for me, even with everything going on. Like even sitting there, the first things I did was reach out to Angela.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I assessed the situation. This is out of my control. You know, how can I make this right? Like, even though, and then, you know, getting you in like a certain amount of days, you know, everything, and moving things, situating. It doesn't have to be chaos, I feel like, because I feel like I was able to execute everything really quickly, even though it was such a intense moment for like literally a trip to just be like poof. But I just don't feel like when those situations happen, I don't feel chaos. I feel very peaceful.
Okay.
I feel like it's extremely like calm. Like I get what you're saying though. It's like
the perspective is very different,
like, oh,
right?
fuck,
like for my plan, if my plan isn't falling into pieces, my head, I'm just like, this is chaotic.
Yeah,
Just
go
very
down.
logical
Yeah.
things. It's like, you know, okay, something happened. What are the steps that needs to be taken? What are the options? And then,
what do you get out of freaking out?
yeah.
I mean,
What do you get out of worrying?
no, don't
you know?
get me wrong. It's like, that's kind of like where I'm going at. It's like, there's a certain level of peace that you need to have in order to handle chaotic things. Because if you let the chaotic things outside of, like, for example, like things going wrong, which is, I feel like
But then
that's
full circle, like then it comes back to the fact that it's only chaotic if you make it chaotic. If you handle it peacefully, then it's peaceful. It's just something that didn't acquire to your plan.
right. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, my point being is that if it doesn't go accordingly, I think that's my definition of like chaos, right? If things that didn't go according to me, like to my plans, I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. And then one thing didn't happen, suddenly it's chaotic, right? Because it's like, not everything is going
Did you
according.
put all your eggs in one basket?
No, but don't get me wrong. Like I'm still gonna solve I'm still gonna solve the chaotic problem, right? I'm still gonna solve the chaotic problem, and I feel like for me, like I always want new challenges, and like maybe the challenges that I want in life, like I want to be able to figure it out. I consider them chaotic.
Yes.
Right. My perspective is like that's really really tough. That's like super unorganized and like chaotic. Like everyone's like not in the same page, and everyone's acting differently than how I thought, right? And then I want to be able to put myself in that situation and like figure things out, because I love the process, right? I love like models who are completely different from one another, and you know, growing my business in a sense that I'm always reaching new heights, and you know, even like new heights that I've never been before. And the idea that yes, you're right, it is unknown, right? But at the same time, it goes more than that, because there are things that happens that's completely out of your control, which is the definition of chaos, right?
I mean, but nothing's in our control.
Exactly.
So
But-
everything's chaos?
Yeah, and that's why you need to have a certain level of peace in order to balance that, right? In order for it to work. It's just like if you're always banking on the idea that it's gonna go wrong, then obviously everything's gonna go wrong. You need to be able to operate under the premise that even though it's chaotic, I can go ahead and balance it out with my own peace of mind, and then I can handle situations that are chaotic because I'm very peaceful.
So
But if you're peaceful, then it's not chaotic.
No, the situation is chaotic. I'm peaceful.
I would love to.
Sorry.
This is great. I'm just like loving this, dude. So okay,
Yeah.
I have a question for both Mariah and Kim, because exactly what you described. Because literally when you said, "Is it chaos though?" and I'm like, "She gets it." Like, dude, I saw the look on Kim's face. I was like, dude, that's where I live. Like, it's exactly like being in those uncomfortable situations is where I find my peace. I feel like who I am at 100%. Me, Anthony ORQUE, at his best, is being dropped off in the middle of a fucking war zone that is known as a con, and just fucking handling shit.
Figuring it
Right?
out, right?
So that's me. Do you have any stories of you being dropped in whatever you would consider a chaotic war zone, and just being
10 times a day.
Like,
Well, I think you have to remember the concept is becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
That,
100%.
that's something that is when you see real growth and change. And
So true.
becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable is what's gonna keep you peaceful and like joyful. And like, you know, people can't, you know, you don't give your power card to people or situations. You don't give that hand that over.
That's good.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like situations where it's like you just dropped off into chaos, all the time, bro. All the time. I mean,
Yeah, because the reason why I'm asking for like a story is just like to help put it in perspective, because there's not a lot of people can understand like the views and like kind of my perspective on like running the con stuff, because it's solely my experience, right?
well, I would say that being going through him not being able to come because of the embassy situation,
Okay.
because of the
Yeah.
passport.
Yeah.
And I had all these shoots planned on certain days,
Yeah.
and like I had to contact the like studios, change things up, you know, change dates of travel, like
Right.
move certain things around, like.
Yeah.
That was definitely like
Yeah.
being dropped off into chaos, because it's like we rolled up like
Yeah.
excited, ready to go, and
It's
they're
crazy. Like, literally, yeah,
we
Marvin,
can't
you can't-
board you.
Yeah.
And
No, they said we can board you, but you won't be able to enter the country. You'll be
Yeah.
stuck in the
You're
airport.
stuck
in
And I was like,
airport.
fuck.
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
not a fun time. That was definitely a
challenge.
challenge. Yeah, but
you know what's crazy? That was such a major problem, because all of them, like, I went in there under the premise that I am the main photographer of the trip, and then suddenly there's like zero chance of me not being able to go, and then Mariah just straight up, boom, like everything that she needed to get done
Yeah.
got done, and
That's-
it's like,
Wow.
what the fuck? Yeah.
Wow.
That was crazy. I'm like really proud of like Mariah for like handling everything. Like the moment like that thing happened,
Yeah.
it's like she's on the plane, she's already figuring things out. Like, hey, you need to go here, you need to go there. I'm like, we'll see you in 5 days, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and like contact Angelo just to shoot beginning, and then after that, Jesus Christ, like completely rearrange entire itinerary to fit every single schedule. I was just like,
It's fucking
fuck.
gangster.
And in the end, we had fun. In the end, we had fun.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Holy shit, dude.
It was so
That
much fun. It was definitely it's definitely like not even like a process of elimination for me, but I feel like that's where I thrive as a person, is in situations where it's very circumstantial to your response to things.
Yeah.
So I think when you kind of respond with like a crackhead energy,
Yeah.
you're gonna get crackhead energy right back.
Right.
But if you respond like
Kim.
peacefully,
Yeah.
it's a very important that like you kind of like assess the situation.
So
and I
true.
get it. Like sometimes shit's like first I was like I was freaked out
Yeah.
a bit, and I like, you know, but kind of calm yourself down. You're like, fuck, okay, you know, I can't do anything. What can I do? You know,
Exactly.
I can't control this. What can I use my prowess to like what can I engage? Like, how can I get this fixed? Everything, you know, having to personally go down to like the studio and be like, you know, I'm sorry, we won't be able to make it in today. You know, we'll pay the late fee or the fee not being able to, or I don't think we had even had to pay a fee. We just didn't get our
Rebooking.
we
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
rebooking fee. And, you know, doing that and like having to do it in like Japanese, like there is some like
Right.
wall barriers because I
And
can
she
only
did
speak
all
so
of it
much. Like,
At barely knowing Japanese at that time.
yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? I mean, you're proficient in Japanese now.
A bit,
yeah.
like
But-
don't talk me up too much. I can hold like I can
Yeah.
ask like directions
Right.
and do things.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not. Okay, like you're so much better.
I'm like
now.
elementary school
Yeah,
level.
You're so
Thank
much
you.
better
Yes,
now.
Thank you.
But the
Nice.
fact that she was able to do all that without, you know,
Mina,
like, yeah, it was crazy. I'm like trying to just remember how that came to be, like that trip.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that's just kind of like a small part of like how Mariah operates, and it's just like I feel like it's so much more than that. It gets. I mean, it's right now. It's just like you guys are seeing like the Zen Mariah, right? It's like very.
It's a
dope.
facade.
Yeah,
It's a
right?
facade.
But she has like, man, it's crazy how when she is under pressure. I'm just like here. This isn't me like hyping her up, but man, it's like it's intense. It's intense because like again, I've talked about like how Mariah is so much different than I am in terms of like how we fix things.
Yeah.
And it's like with Mariah, it's always just like whenever I decide to give her suggestions, it's like a lot of people just accept the the suggestion, right? For her, it's always just like, we can make it better, and it would just like bounce ideas, and then in the end, it's just like this idea that I present to her, it just gets the best. It could
One of the
possibly be.
best possible outcomes of that suggestion.
Absolutely. Like even just like the Patreon thing you were discussing the
Right.
other day, for example.
So like I was like spitting her out. I'm like, this is what how we
Like
want
there's
to
this
approach.
issue right here. What if we just do this? And I was like, well, instead of doing that, why don't we do
Do
this
this.
instead?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because of doing this, it'll make sure this stays good, and then
Yeah.
that stays good, and everything stays good. You can continue running this, like just because this issue's here, like let's work around that issue, not so much like we have to give up.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, Kim.
Shit. no.
Yeah, so I had a question.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing your growth within the past like good 1-2 years, and it actually reminded me of like my growth too. I grew a lot more than what I was comfortable with, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? How do I handle this? So my question to you is, with your growth, what challenges did you come across, and how did you like overcome it?
I mean, with all growth, you're going to see goods and bads. And I think you have to understand there's like a yin and yang to everything. While money, fame, and like, stability and like comfortability is one of the yin. And then the yang can be, you have to be wary of the people that are around you. You have to second guess a lot of things. Can't be so trustworthy. You can't just like kind of open yourself up to everyone. You have to be even aware of family, you have to be aware of like a little bit like fans that are too obsessive. You have to consider the fans that are not trying to see you do well, but the fans who want to see you fail, and like how they push forth like a negative narrative, and consider also the people in your field that may see you as a threat too, and how they might do what they can to not see you do well. So I think there's all kinds of ways that being like growth can be good and be bad, and it's just you weighing out those odds and seeing, was it worth it? There's the artist Bo Burnham. He has a very good conversation about like actors, models, artists, everybody, and like how it in a sense is just like a stage for us to be put up on for some weird reason, and we make obscene amounts of money, and it's just like, and we also don't know really how to handle everything. It's like, he like does this like burrito analogy. He's like, I wouldn't gotten any of this if I knew it was going to be like this. Like, and that's very true. I think sometimes I've gone to the thoughts, I'm like, I wouldn't have done this if I knew this was going to have like kind of stuff. But then like you also have to like to step out and be like, okay, well, I was like, does this really outweigh this? Does this outweigh that? And figure out where things morally sit with you. Because you have to remember, at the end of the day, if you didn't want it, you'd pull out.
Yeah,
Right.
Sure.
Because I've already kind of like come to terms with one day I'm not gonna want this, and I'm just gonna delete all my social media and be like, peace.
But for now, you're good.
Yeah,
So,
like I really enjoy it. I really enjoy what I do, and I appreciate the growth. There are times where I get a little nervous because I'm like, I don't want it. Like I have a friend that like heavily wants me to do YouTube, and like I'm just like nervous about opening up into that audience because I'm like, like people like can like see me through like videos and Instagram, and like that's fine. Like, but I feel like once it gets to like YouTube stuff, I'm like, I feel like my personality comes out more, and I'm like, will people like it? Like, will people not like it? Will it get too famous? Will it not get famous? Will it be embarrassed? Like, it's like you go through a lot of thought processes there, and it's like also, but what does that bring? Like, does it bring a negative crowd, a positive crowd? So I just feel like I don't really care about growth. Like I'm very comfortable. Like I'm very, but I'm working a lot in different areas right now. Like I started doing like volunteer work for an animal hospital every Tuesday, Thursday, and it's really fun. And they're cool. I can't wait to like be a part of that and be something. It's like kind of like the concept of like, fuck what you know, what do you do? So it's like, well, who cares what I know about like growth in media? It's like, what do I do with it? Like, what do I do with the opportunity and free time that I have?
Oh, that's so crazy. Because
like that.
We're coming in here wanting to like explore your brain, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what do you know? Because people are very much interested, but you're definitely giving us like a different kind of knowledge. And
It's next level.
Yeah, it's like I feel like
We're on level 1, bro.
Yeah, you're giving us like knowledge is like go above that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like growth in social media and numbers and all that. It's great and all, but there's better, more important things. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm just like,
Yeah.
while we're here stuck, I'm like growing numbers.
I mean, yeah, I could sit down here and like tell you all the things that you have to post this times a day. You have to post here. You have to post at these times, and here's not going to do that. If you use these keywords here, and if you use that, they won't be good. And if you do this, you do that. And if you do this and that, you do this in the photo, it's not going to be good. You're not going to get the share. Like I could absolutely talk your ear off about that, and like
We want it.
absolutely, I can. It's more of a concept though.
You've gone beyond that.
The way to get beyond. It's like. That information's already out there. Why not share with you what I know in a sense of like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's crazy.
And I understand that some people can see me and be like, oh, well, you only say that because you've gotten there. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not that big of a deal. You don't really need that. You don't need that excessiveness. That's why I'm a very, like, things don't hold a lot of like, people hold value to me more than like things.
Yeah.
Like when I lose things, it doesn't bother me. Like when we were in Japan and I lost the gold necklace.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What gold necklace? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I lost a very nice gold necklace in Japan.
I think one of her luggage was slightly open and it just kind of like the
It just
necklace
popped right out,
just
yeah.
wiggled through down and then it just lost it.
But how my response was just like,
Like,
oh my
it's
God.
okay.
You
It's just
let it-
materialistic.
It's very
Doesn't really
materialistic.
affect you, you don't.
Yeah, no, I'm like
That's so
the things
dope.
that like I care about. Like if I was ever in a fire, how many cats can I hold at once? It's literally like it's not about what
Right.
can I grab. It's
Right.
like I'm like
My
okay,
cats.
so I'm like I know they're there, they will be there, they'll be there, they'll be
Right.
there. Okay, so I gotta go.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
fucking put like a big T-shirt on, like bum, 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 like,
Right. No, that's crazy.
knock on the door, Kev.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
There's more things to life than just numbers and money. and-
Yeah, and I feel like
There
you know
are.
it's important in business aspects, and if that's what you want to go with and do and focus on, like there's so many more things that like because I can only describe my experience for me and like what works for me, but there's gonna be tons of stuff for other people and like
Absolutely.
find out what works best for you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dope. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for answering that. I think we're gonna cut to a break, and then I want to talk about kind of the last thing, which is loyalty.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back, everybody. Again, still feel the feeling that I had earlier in the episode. It's just kind of wafting. You know what I mean? Like the energy just here.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
I love it, honestly,
Nah.
because there are some interviews that we go into where you're like, all right, I can probably take a couple guesses, couple jabs, maybe probably say this,
Yeah.
probably say that. Literally everything Mariah said, left.
Yeah.
The biggest left field
Right.
turns
It's
ever,
crazy.
and I love it.
Yeah. We had such a big, like, different kind of like idea of how this podcast was gonna
Yeah,
go.
how this episode I think would have gone.
Yeah, because we thought you're like very like, business minded, right? And you were gonna open up the knowledge and just like how people should be as entrepreneurs, right? Because you're very much that. But then you've kind of just like, fuck that.
This is humbling.
Yeah, this is humbling.
If there's anything to
Right?
describe it, it's 100%
that's
humbling.
exactly what I've
Because and again, this is held true for mentors of my past and people that I've looked up to and learned from, which is being the kohai, right? Like the person that's trying to learn from the senpais
right,
and the senseis, right? Like they're always on another level,
right,
and they do the best job of like amazing you and teaching like the best lessons, I feel like. So, and I feel like that's kind of where the tone is right now. And I kind of wanted to wrap us up going into something that's important to all of us, and I feel is a big part of personally of one of my definitions of success, which is the aspect of loyalty. And so, is there any way you can kind of share some stories or kind of expand upon the concept of loyalty? Well, first and foremost, what does loyalty mean to you?
Unfortunately, I'm not Webster's dictionary, but to me, loyalty in a sense is that which is his name, to be loyal, to be warm to someone, to be to look out for someone's best interest, to be mindful of that person,
Yes.
to be mindful of your actions when what that does to somebody.
Sure.
Loyalty is not withholding secrets or like things that like could be like game changing, or loyalty in a sense is always treating someone with a sense of a care, and that's not just about yourself and what your own narrative and gain is going to be from it.
Yeah.
It's like it's where you have love for somebody, because I feel loyalty is a response of love.
True.
You know,
100%.
you want to be loyal to those that you love. And love doesn't need to be just romantic. Love
Absolutely.
can just love and intimacy, and something I feel that I share with so many of the people close to me. I'm very intimate, and I'm a very like in love, like very loving towards the people around me. And that's what gains my loyalty, and then vice versa, I feel.
Why is it so important to you, like personally?
Why is it important to love and have loyalty? I feel like that should be everyone's importance. I feel that, I mean, again, it's like I can't control what people do. I can't control others' loyalty. Loyalty is important because it keeps those around. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, like, why do you got to keep anybody around you? Fucking people are going to do what they're going to do. People are just naturally going to be themselves. And maybe something happens where they aren't loyal to you one day, but that's not the end all be all. But maybe that's where someone needs to grow in a sense. It doesn't mean that they're just a bad person, but it just means like, that there was a growth that needed to happen.
Yeah.
And loyalty, it should be like a continuous thing and something that has good continuity and consistency.
Absolutely.
And I think that's another thing that comes down to why I like loyalty, because it develops into consistency.
The word of the day.
C-word.
Cheers to
C-word.
that.
Cheers to the C-word. So we have a running joke on the podcast. It's kind of
I did
like
not know
Sesame
this.
Street,
Nah.
where whenever anyone says the C word, we're like,
Consistent.
Yeah, and
that's my favorite word.
It's Marvin's favorite word, and he attributes it honestly to you, and that's
Yeah.
why. That honestly, as it being a running joke, and I'm so happy that it happened on your episode.
Yeah.
Because like that kind of goes into the theme, right, of loyalty, because consistency is having like a consistent, like, what I mean, like that relationship. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, based on everything that Marvin has been saying with regards to consistency, I can personally see from kind of like outside looking in, I can see what that means to each of you and both of you. And that's one of the things that I respect a lot, which is whenever, and I know we're kind of getting deep into this. Tell me to shut the hell up. if
No,
it
you're
seems
good. You're
By
good.
all means.
But and this is something I haven't really told Marvin yet, but in the last few months of really getting to know him, the level of admiration for you that he has is something that
Oh,
is
okay. You can
so-
shut up now.
shut the fuck up. I'm going in, dog. It's
Yeah.
for me rare. I'm not as fortunate to see that as a common thing as some people, and because that's so it impacts me, because it's something that I strive to form in my relationships with people. And when Marvin talks about you, with again just the back and forth, the hard talks, right?
Yeah.
The never ending growth, like all of that, I'm just like, damn, dude, that's for me, again, that's sick. And I'm like, no fucking wonder they doing it. You know what I mean? No fucking wonder they're thriving, because they have that. And so, again, and this kind of goes to both of you, which is how would you describe your relationship with Marvin, personal or professional, when it comes to like having a meaningful relationship? Because the way that he describes it is loyalty being like one of the fundamental parts of it. So if you can speak on it, if you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say loyalty being fundamental. I would say it comes back down to like love, in my opinion. I feel like with the people like I have, like you in my life, or like Maddie, or Kevin, Lauren, I can like Blaine, like I look at these people and I see what they do for me, like mentally, physically, emotionally, how they're there for me. And I think that's important to return that vice versa. And when I look at that, I don't see it as a loyalty. I see it as like a love and intimacy
Okay.
in every way possible. Like I couldn't tell you how much love that I have for Marvin. I can only show you. And I feel like that's just something that like I do with most of my friendships. It's like very much so. I don't need to sit there and tell you every day how much I love you. I feel like I exude that. I radiate it constantly.
Yeah.
Your actions speak so much louder.
Yeah, I just even my presence. I know people when I walk in a room, people know I love them. Like it's like
absolutely.
people like I'm not naive. People wouldn't go out of the way that they do for me if they didn't like feel that I appreciate them or you know every little thing like. It's like I take account to everything, and I do. I take account into everything people do. Like I'm like very aware of it.
Yeah,
very much so. Like not defensive. Like you know how there's like defensive driving. Think of it like defensive living. Like, but not so much in the defense way, but just to be like aware, like to see
mindfulness.
Mindfulness, absolutely. It comes right back down to mindfulness. There's so much that we do in our lives that we're just not being aware of our actions. And seeing people who are just very aware of those actions and being around people who are very loving and intimate people is what I think builds those relationships. Like, loyalty's cool and all, but I mean, like, if love's not there, it's like, it's and like, so when I view my relationship with you, I view two people who like came together in a way that we're entering a business, but as our business started to grow together, we came into a personal understanding of one another, and we're able to grow into like such a beautiful connection. And
absolutely.
like I would say I have a connection with you that I don't have with anybody else. Like similar to how I have ones with other people, but like with you, it's such a special connection. And like it's like not do I only have loyalty to you? It's like I have like my soul is for you in a way. Like and like because like I have these connections with you where like we can bond in these ways. We can talk in certain ways. We can go deep down. We can do a photo shoot, and then in the middle of that photo shoot, have like a discussion about something that's very traumatic for me or something that needs to change for me. It's it's not even so much that I see you as business or personal. It's like I see you as Marvin, and I see you as truly like someone in my life that I hope stays there for the rest of my life. Even when I'm like old wrinkly.
It's
again there.
like I'm so happy to go and like hear that from you, because it's like a lot of our like the way we grew as like kind of like business partners, and like how our friendship like evolved into something so like great, and like I wouldn't exchange it for anything in the world. It's like it's so kind of eye-opening, and at the same time it's like this is what I want. And if I want to go ahead and have this kind of bond with other people, I wanna use kind of this formula that we've had towards others. And I think one thing that Mariah have done for me is that she was very much aware that I'm not a robot. Like I'm a human being. Yeah. And it's just like going into a business, she doesn't expect too much of me in a sense that's like, oh, you should be able to go ahead and like do everything right. Like she knows that I'm human, right? She knows that I have down times, and like she just said, that's all good. I understand. Yeah. And then she continues to like work with me despite like whatever hardship I'm going through. And it's like, I hope I can say that vice versa when you're going through things. I'm just like, it's all right, Mariah, like, we'll work hard next time, right? And like that's something that I want to implement towards not just my close friends, but towards everyone. I want like all my friendships to be that way. To be like just solid bond. Like I accept you for who you are and all your flaws and all your mistakes, because that's the only way we're gonna grow together. Right? It's like the idea that just because you made a mistake, I'm gonna cast you out. It shouldn't ever be that way. It should just be like all about accepting, minding people's capabilities. Accepting. Like again, going back to accepting.
Well, I think also understanding when something's a mistake and something that's a repeated act of like negligence. To be aware of that situation. Like there are people in my life where I've had to be like, you unfortunately have not performed to my standard over a certain amount of time, and I don't feel that us working together brings value. I appreciate the time and effort that you did. You know, you've been paid for your work, but this is, you know, this is my expectation out of this. And I just don't think you and I can work together because we're just not at the same place. Not that I'm saying that you're not good or not that we're not adding the correct values to each other. Or maybe it's pouring into one's cups more so than the other. But with Marvin, I've absolutely never felt that that you haven't met my expectations. You're one of the hardest working people I've ever met. And then so
true.
I feel that
So true.
I don't feel like I'm ever pulling you ever. Like I feel like in some places I have been like with other people where I'm like, come on. But I feel like once you see my pace, you run right up next to me. And then I look at yours and I run up next to you. I'm like,
no, it's crazy. It's like I always go back to this, and it's like I thought I work hard. Mariah works. It's like I'm usually leading the charge. Mariah, when it comes to Mariah, she's the first one to go, and I'm the one tagging in. And it's crazy. And like that's why I guess Mariah's like is very special to me, because she's been like the only person to ever just be like, all right, Marvin, you need to run fast now. And I was like, I thought I was already running fast. I was just like, faster? I always complain to my mom. It's like, Mom, Mariah's off her what is this? Like her down phase. And I was just like, I gotta sprint faster. I would always like, because it's like your down phase is like intense already. So just like once you have your fast pace, I was like, oh my god, I gotta straighten up.
I'm like,
right?
brain goes
So
brr.
it's very special. Like with Mariah, it's like that's why I'm excited with this podcast. It's just like the level of game that she brings. It's addicting.
Absolutely.
It's addicting. It's very addicting.
A dick. Sorry.
All right. Well, man, I hate to be that guy, but I think I'm gonna wrap us up. I definitely want to be cognizant of your time. Honestly, I felt like a journey.
It is.
Like,
it's spiritual.
A straight up spiritual journey. I feel like I just went to like I revisited the past avatars and shit, right? Exactly. And like I'm just like, oh, where am I? I'm in the spirit world. Where we are right now, right? And it's a really good feeling. I personally love this. This was humbling as well as like super eye-opening because this not only paints the picture for us as an organization, me personally, but also I think hopefully for people out there to really seek like more than what kind of like the stuff that we're trying to get into, which is like all the business stuff, right? But there really is more important stuff, you know what I mean, to
Absolutely.
it. And I feel like we really did a good job kind of exploring that. So I always kind of have these two questions, which is, did you have fun and would you come back with us?
Absolutely. I wouldn't if I didn't have fun and if I didn't think I was gonna have fun, I wouldn't be here. I knew it was gonna be fun. Yeah. Of course. Getting the chance to talk about more introspective details about someone and kind of like talk with other people is very one of the best joys in life. It's
absolutely
making connections and getting a bit more deeper into things. And I mean, like it's intimate with a camera on us in two different areas, like and these in front of us, like real intimate. But it does come into a form of intimacy where you get to kind of like step back and put yourself into those positions and also have people like listen in on it and see different perspectives, because by all means anyone could come up here and be a Ty Lopez and be like the 10 business steps to start from your garage to multi-millionaire, a small loan of $1 million. But I don't think you're gonna get much of this where you got someone sitting down and like, because I just feel like everyone wants to talk business, and business is fun.
But I mean,
like,
holy shit!
But like, think of like you first. Like, shouldn't you be fun? Shouldn't like your inner mind? Shouldn't you focus on in here?
Right. No, it's great. It's like definitely, I'm so happy that the podcast went the way it did, because it's definitely like one of those things where like perspective changing.
Everything's perspective, the act of mindfulness.
Right.
So true.
So
it's beauty.
Holy shit.
Dang. All right, I feel good. Any closing?
I have like goosebumps.
Goosey goose.
I'm just like,
All right. Again, so just to wrap us up, what's the best way for people to come follow you, find you? Feel free to shout out whatever you'd like to shout out.
My Instagram is Mariah Mallad. And you can there she
there
is.
she is.
Oh my God, you're so close to 1 million.
Oh shit!
What are you gonna do?
Holy shit.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Refresh and be like, cool.
What's for dinner?
Yeah,
right?
1 million.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
There's my ass. There's my tatters.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. So Mariah Mallad.
Mariah Mallad and BTS Momokun, and
Nice.
you can find me on OnlyFans. You can find me on Patreon. And you can find me on my website, momokun.co.
Hey.
Snap, son. Nice. Good
Yeah.
shit. Any closing remarks or any parting words of advice for our audience out there that are, trying to traverse this journey of life, so to speak. Any advice?
Journey of life?
Yeah.
You're doing it.
You doing it, right?
Oh.
You're doing
okay.
it.
You're
Keep doing it. I'm very proud of where you are and where you're at. And I'm very happy to see people handling the things that they're handling at the rate that they are. And be proud of where you are. Yeah.
Dang. That was so heartwarming.
I know.
I feel like she was talking to
seriously.
me.
I know. I was like, fuck. I needed that, Mom. I needed that.
Nice.
Mama Khan.
Mommy Kun.
Mommy Kun. Owning up to her. Living up to her name.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. You can follow all of our stuff in the description. Thank you, production team, for hanging out in the closet one more time. Really appreciate you.
Is he locked in the closet? Is he trapped in the closet?
All right. Well, thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're gonna clap it down.
You count it down. You count it down.
3, 2, 1, clap.
Listen again.
You missed the B word.
How do we do it? It's 3, 2, 1.
Clap, bitch.
Clap, bitch.
You missed the B
And
word.
then-
Oh,
Bitch.
we're saying bitch.
Yes, we are.
Unfiltered.
Yes.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, clap, bitch.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. There we go.
Mariah, thank you so much.
Hey.
We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, that's the pie.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Like